My name is Ruben Restrepo, and if you were arrested on New Year's Eve in Texas, you need to hear this because what you do right after that arrest can make or break your case. Maybe it was a DWI checkpoint, maybe a party got out of hand, maybe you thought you were fine, and suddenly you're back in the patrol car and, and watching the fireworks from the patrol car. What are we doing here? Right? Right now, you might be scared, confused, embarrassed, wondering if this is going to follow you forever. Take a breath. This happens a lot to a bunch of good people every year in Texas. We're talking judges, nurses, uh, lawyers, professionals all abound. And today I'm going to tell you exactly what to do next. I'm a Texas DWI and criminal defense attorney. I've handled thousands of cases just like this, especially holiday arrests when police presence is at its highest. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the biggest mistakes people make a New Year's Eve arrest, and this is what you should do instead. One step almost everybody skips that can seriously damage your case. Sure you stay with me until the end. Now, before we go further, subscribe to this channel. I post real Texas criminal law information so you're not guessing when your freedom is on the line. Here's the first thing you need to understand. New Year's Eve arrests are different. Law enforcement is out in full force, more patrols, more checkpoints, more pressure to make arrests. And when that pressure is high, that's when things happen, right? So this is where people are always getting into trouble. If you've already been arrested, stop explaining yourself. Don't clear things up. Don't try to be helpful. Don't try to tell your side of the story. I've seen cases fall apart just because someone kept talking after the arrest. Right? There's a reason why there's so many people saying the same thing over and over. Guess what? You need to shut the F up. One client told officers how many drinks he had after he was already in custody. Like, how are you going to be in the back seat of a car? Guess what? That wasn't all that great. That statement became the prosecutor's favorite piece to throw in my face, like, I don't know, like a piece of pie or something, right? It was terrible. So, silence protects you. Silence is good. That's why you have a right to remain silent. Oh, give me a second here. This next part is critical. The first 72 hours after you're arrested matter more than most people realize. Your case isn't built in court, it's built before you ever were arrested, right? Police reports, they need to be reviewed. You got body worn camera footage, and it has to be preserved, right? You got breath or blood tests, they need to be examined, and they're going to be examined with a fine tooth comb to see if there are any errors. Bond conditions need to be explained so you don't accidentally violate them. Waiting is one of the most expensive things that mistakes that people make. Now listen closely. If you're arrested and it was a DWI, you're on the clock. You only got 15 days to request an ALR or administrative license revocation hearing. Miss that deadline and your license suspension can become automatic and even before your criminal case is decided. Most people don't know that. And most attorneys don't even handle that, right? Especially if you get like an appointed attorney. I do appointments, I do them, but not everybody does them, right? Now, I want you to hear this part clearly. An arrest does not define you. Every January, I hear the same thing. I never been in trouble before. I made one mistake. I'm scared this is going to ruin my future. It don't have to. But how you respond matters. So let me recap. New Year's Eve arrests are aggressive. That's probably why you got arrested. Talking can hurt your case. And you already talked, oh, well, what are we going to do? We're going to work it out. Early action protects you. And deadlines are real and unforgiving. Now, I want to hear from you. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Some of the best conversations, the most helpful answers come from real situations like yours or like your friends. And if you want some personalized help, I'm here to help you guys. So you can look in the bio, go to my website, and I'll be able to help you out. And make sure you subscribe here because I'm here to help you out. The right information at the right time can change everything. Okay, now I want to shift for a moment because not everybody arrested on New Year's Eve was stopped for a DWI. Actually, I got to check one thing. This is what I want to play. Of course, it's not working. Sorry, something is not working here the way it's supposed to. Hey, guess what? I'm not AI. So that's what happens. Okay, so because not everybody was arrested on New Year's Eve was stopped for a DWI. Let's talk about that. A lot of people were arrested for assault. That's very, very normal. And if that's you or someone you care about, this part is especially important. Most New Year's Eve assault cases don't start with somebody looking for trouble. Ain't nobody trying to get into trouble. They're just trying to have a good time. Unfortunately, a lot of them start with alcohol. Crowded spaces, high emotions, misunderstandings that escalate fast. Here's what most people don't realize. In Texas, an assault charge does not require a serious injury. Okay? Let me repeat that. It doesn't require a serious injury. You may not even have an injury at all, right? It can be as simple as an accusation that somebody felt threatened or that there was an unwanted physical contact. And on nights like New Year's Eve, officers often have to make quick decisions based on the information on hand. And this is where things get dangerous for your case. If you're arrested for assault, do not reach out to the other person to smooth things over. Oh, I'm just going to talk to her. I'm going to give her a call online. Nah, 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 nah. This ain't about to happen, right? Don't apologize for anything. Don't explain yourself. Definitely don't text. Don't be texting to apologize, texting to explain. No messaging, no emails. All of this stuff is bad. If you believe the situation was blown out of proportion, too bad. You need to get a lawyer to handle the rest of that information for you. Now, I've seen well-intentioned messages turn into the strongest evidence the state has had to put against the people who are basically saying they're still saying that they're innocent. Now, listen closer to this. An assault case moves fast, right? Protective orders, no contact conditions, bond restrictions can violate you without you didn't even realize that you had a bond condition and that you went somewhere. I just going over there to get some clothes, right? You live there, but the bond condition says you can't go there. You can't go to your own house. Yeah, that's how serious it can get. One accidental text, responding to a message, even right. So they reach out to you, and you said, "Not chill, leave me alone." You saying chill, leave me alone is enough for your bond violation. Now, is it realistic that a judge would just violate you just for that? No, but is you doing that is going to invite something else. And yeah, what if the judge is waiting for the next thing? There's plenty of judges that say zero tolerance. They don't want to hear anything. And suddenly you're facing a new charge, right? That's why early legal guidance matters in such cases like assault, right? Many of these cases are defensible, right? but only if you handle them correctly from the beginning. You might have self defense, a lack of intent, conflicting witness statements. That happens a lot. Alcohol related perception issues. These things matter and they can change the entire direction of the case. So if your New Year's Eve arrest involved an assault allegation, stay with me because the next thing you do could determine whether it is a temporary setback or something that follows you for far longer than it should. So let's see here. Any questions? Okay. All right. So here's something. Let's see. Drugs can get you. Can drugs? Oh, okay, I see. All right. Here's something. Drugs can get you a DWI in Texas even without alcohol. All right. So again, I'm Ruben Restrepo, immigration and DWI attorney. All right. Stay to the end of this because I'm going to tell you what most people don't expect. All right. Here's the key thing you need to know. In Texas, marijuana is still illegal under state law. Drug charges are based on two things: the schedule or penalty group of the drug and the amount involved. These two factors decide whether you're facing a misdemeanor or a felony. A small difference in weight can mean a much bigger punishment. And here's what most people don't expect: you can be charged with a DWI in Texas even if alcohol is not involved. If law enforcement believes drugs affected your ability to drive, that alone can lead to a DWI arrest, and that includes marijuana. So the myth is if I wasn't drinking, I can't get a DWI. That's not true in Texas. Follow me for more. So let's see what else. What other deals we got going on over here? Right. All right. Somebody put avoid cops. Yeah. Uh, Although the problem with avoiding cops is sometimes you can't avoid cops, right? You weren't expecting that they were going to be there in the first place, and so it can be pretty difficult to say. It's easy to say, but it's not that easy to deal with. All right, let me see here. Okay, so what to do when your ex is accusing you of doing something you didn't do? Well, you got to get an attorney. Now you probably have an appointed attorney, so that'll be fine, right? But let's think about this. What are we going to do? We're going to be quiet, right? Exercise all your rights. Remember your rights: right to remain silent, right to an attorney. That's the first two things that we're going to do. We're going to exercise those rights. I can't afford an attorney. Guess what? One is going to be appointed for you. All right. Now we got the bond conditions. We're going to follow all the bond conditions, and the number one thing we're going to do is not speak to anybody. We're not going to say anything to them. I just said this earlier. We're not going to be speaking to anybody. We're not going to say anything to them, trying to reach out to them because it's just going to come and bite us back, and we just don't want to deal with that. Okay, so with that, then the attorney is going to work, and one of the things the attorney is going to work is after if the person lied, they don't necessarily want to go under oath and then start telling the truth, right? Because then they're going to get in trouble. But they don't want to necessarily continue a lie. It's easy to lie to a police officer. Oh yeah, that person hurt me because you angry. But when you ain't angry no more, they might change. So those are the type of things that we want to see what's going on. We want to check if there's any kind of videos. We want to check for a lot of different things. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, okay. Here's a question. Somebody got a question is like, what if somebody is breaking into the car? Do you have a right to, I guess, essentially protect your property? Now, the answer is yes or no. It's very, it's kind of wishy washy. That's the best way to think about it. So, can you protect your own vehicle and essentially shoot somebody? Simple answer is yes. But what most people don't think about, guess what? The police might arrest you anyways. You might be defending yourself. That's why we have an affirmative defense of self defense. However, there has to be a finding of self defense first. And the only people that can truly find that is the jury. And if the jury doesn't find that, if you're dealing with a jury, that means you're going to trial. And most people don't want to go to trial in the first place, right? And then you have to also establish that that happened in the first place. So were they actually stealing? What if they're alive, right? And they say, "Oh, I was there, and then he just started a fight with me," right? Because they're trying to cover up for the fact that they were doing something illegal, and you're like, "No, they were stealing from my car." And the cop talked to them first. The cop might be like, "Please, they said you was gonna say that. Arrest." So that's why you've got to have an attorney. That's why you have to be clear. If it starts looking like you want to be the one calling 911, that's number one. Saying, hey, they did this, these people did that. You don't want to just be like, hey, I protected myself, and then all of a sudden you you're the one being arrested because you never told anybody. Well, you didn't say anybody was robbing your car, breaking into your car. Now, I would recommend don't go around shooting nobody because you can be arrested and you could get into trouble. Better to call the police. Hey, we all got phones. The phones are helping us out big time, right? So let's make sure that we're doing that. All right, what else we got? Okay. All right, so here's a question. Are you under arrest when they put the handcuffs on you? The answer is maybe. So that's the problem with everything that we ever do. It's always like a maybe. But the simple answer is you could not be under arrest. You could just be detained. So what does detain means? Detain means that they don't want you going somewhere else while they're doing their investigation and doing interviews with stuff. So they can detain you, right? That's why you always hear those things of people saying, "Am I detained? Am I detained?" Hey, guess what? Maybe you're not detained, and that's why you could walk away. But if you are detained, just because you're in handcuffs, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are under arrest. There are different criteria for it. So one of the criteria may be, can you go anywhere? Is your car gone? Have they taken you to another place? Is this the safest place to be? A lot of times they start you in one place, it's dangerous, and so they take you to another place to perform something like a DWI sobriety test. So that is something that you got to watch out for. That so just because you're in handcuffs doesn't mean that you are under arrest. However, that doesn't mean that you are not a subject. You're definitely a subject. You're definitely a suspect. So that's why you got to act like you already are under arrest. And what did I say that we do when we're under arrest? We know our rights. We are silent, and we ask for our lawyer. And that's what we're going to do. Okay? Let's see. What else? Okay, that's pretty much it. I appreciate everybody following me for this live. If you had any questions, uh, I appreciate it. I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you.